giving their thoughts about semantic notation. Both of them, says Ryan. Okay. Who else wants to give it a try? I only have 4 feedback about it. Marielle says A equals to A, E, I, O, U. Go try, Marielle, but that is not semantic notation, right? Alan says Ernest. Okay. Remember that I told you semantic notation has 2 basic things, right? It has 2 basic things, which are, I'm not hearing you guys. Name of set, says Edwin. Okay. The set and the definition. Very good. It has the name of the set and it has a description. Remember, a description of the set. A concise description of what the set is about or what the elements will be about, right? Ryan says it describes something very good. So semantic notation is just a descriptive statement that describes a set, right? That is what we covered yesterday. Now, is the semantic or non-semantic notation? Semantic or non-semantic,
Semantic.
please? Semantic says, I don't know. Someone says
Non-
semantic. Who else? You can type in the chat box.
Non-semantic, Miss.
Non-semantic says Ernest. Who else? Let me see. Okay, non-semantic. Just give me a moment, guys. Gigi. I'm sorry, my dad came all the way here. Okay, so let's see as non-semantic. Yes, I'm talking about D, Alan said. D is semantic or non-semantic? D is non-semantic, says. So for those of you who said it is semantic, remember, semantic is a sentence. It is giving you the name of the set and the description of the set, right? It is not like we have in D. It's like in set D, we are listing some elements, right? And we have some curly brackets, we have our commas, but in semantic, we don't have that. In semantic, we just have the name of the set and the description. Very good, Alan. Alan says semantic has a definition. We'll say a description, right? So, is the set A is the list of students at CPHS that are vaccinated. Is that semantic or non-semantic?
Semantic, Miss.
Semantic, right? Why? Because it has the name of the set, which is set A, and it is giving you a description. What is the description? The list of students at CPHs that are vaccinated, right? So semantic notation has the name of the set and the description. Don't forget that. That is the main thing about semantic. As I told you, you can identify it because it is basically a sentence, right? It is a sentence giving you a description and the name of the set. So, what will be another example of semantic notation? Just one example. Who wants to share one example of what would be another example of semantic notation? Anyone? You think fast of an example of a semantic notation? Remember, it's just like a sentence. It's the naming of the set and the description. Anyone wants to give it a try? Nobody wants. Oh, I have some. Sorry. Set S is the amount of students in first farm. Very good. I think that should be set. S is the list of students in first farm, because if you is the amount, then you will have a number there, just one number. Then we have set B is the set of natural numbers. Very good. Alan and Loriani says set Y is the list of natural numbers. Very good. So those are examples of semantic notation. Very good, Edwin. So you get now what is semantic notation. Now, given the set, list the elements. Given the set, list the elements. We have set B is the set of students in the math class whose name starts with the letter K. Can you list the elements for that one? Just list the elements. Set B is the set of students in the math class whose name starts with the letter K. Says Krista, Kami, Kennedy, okay. Very good, Ernest. Emerson, I'm not asking for the amount of students. I'm asking the students, right? Which is the name of the students that Ernest mentioned. Now, for set F is the set of positive integers less than 8. I will list the elements for that one. Can we list the elements for set F? I want to see in the chat box what do you guys think about set F is the set of positive integers less than 8. Remember that less than means smaller and greater than means bigger, right? We are now in set F is the set of positive integers less than 8. I just want the elements, right? I just want the list of elements. What do you guys think? I see nobody is responding towards that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 says, Yalitza, yes, Yalitza, but you're missing 1, right? Remember, integers are either positive or negative, but we are talking about positive integers here. So, positive integers are also known as natural numbers, right? And please do not confuse natural numbers with even numbers. I saw in the assignment that many of you did that. You confuse the natural numbers with the even numbers, right? And those are not the same. Even numbers are numbers that can be divided by 2 with no remainder, and natural numbers are just the numbers from 1 to infinity, right? So, we're saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Very good. So what will you do to those elements that you listed? For the first, set B, you will add curly brackets to your elements. Like for example, Ernest said, Krista, Kami, Kennedy. You will add curly brackets. Very good, Alan. Those are curly brackets, not round brackets. It's curly brackets. You will separate those using commas, and you will name the set, right? So you should have something like Alan posted in the chat box. A equals to a curly bracket, Krista, Kami, Kennedy, and the closing of the curly brackets. You don't have to put equals to 3, Alan, but very good. So that is how you should set up those two sets that we just did. So now for set F, you should have F. Example says F equals, yeah, that's a good example, but now let's do for set F. F is the set of positive integers less than 8. So we should have F equals, right, to open our curly brackets, and we have our elements there separated by commas, right? Because that's what we're doing. We are adding curly brackets, we are separating using commas, and we are naming the set. So how should set F look like now? Remember, we're talking about positive integers. Okay, Yelitsa placed her example there. Very good. That is how your new set should look like. So that is basically what I have here, how it should be. Oh, I put Kevin, Kami, and Kennedy, so it means that I was missing someone, right? And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that is how your set should look like. So now, for today, we are covering the raster or tabular notation. This is the most common form used to represent sets, right? In which the elements of the sets are enclosed in curly brackets separated by commas. So this is giving you some important features about the raster notation. Why? Because it says it is enclosed in curly brackets separated by commas. If you do not have something like that, that is not raster notation. We have, for example, set B equals to, we have our curly bracket 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And as we can notice, those are separated by commas. All of those are separated by commas. So this is the collection of the first 5 even numbers, right? So that is basically the raster notation. A raster notation form, each element of the set must be listed exactly once. By convention, the elements in a set should not be repeated. So we have an example. Let A be the set of letters in the word coffee, right? Since we have 2 F's and 2 E, we do not repeat those. We just write 1. And I go, yeah, sure, right? Let A be the set of letters in the word coffee. We have A equals to curly brackets C, comma, O, comma, F, comma, E, comma. As you notice, we do not have 2 F's and we do not have 2 E's. We just have one of each, right? So let's say for another example that has many same letters, we will only write it once. We will only write that letter or the number once, right? So in raster form, the order of the elements of the set does not matter. For example, the set of the first 5 even numbers can also be defined as 2, 6, 8, 10, 4. So we notice that we do not have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, right? But we have 2, 6, 8, 10, 4. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how it is, right? This should have an E here. Because if not, that will not be considered one. So that is how it should look or how it can look. You do not have to place your elements in order. This is what it's trying to say. You do not have to have an order for this notation as long as you have the elements. Also, if there is an endless list of elements in a set, then they are defined using a series of dots at the end of the last element. What is an endless list of elements? How do we call that?
Infinite.
Let me see on the chat box, or you can unmute yourself. How do we call an endless list of elements? Very good. Infinite, right? Infinite. We call that infinite. So if we have an infinite set, then they are defined using a series of dots at the end of the last element, right? So, for example, infinite sets are represented as x equal, we have curly brackets 1, comma, 2, comma, 5, which is the last element that we will put there, and then it's followed by the dots, right? Where x is the set of natural number. So this is how an infinite set should look like. So to sum up the notation of the raster form, let's look at the next slide. So we can have a finite raster notation, right? Where we know that it ends. So we have set E is the set of the first 5 natural numbers, where we have E equals to curly brackets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are separated by commas, and we close the curly bracket. Right? Those are finite. Why? Because it's giving you the first 5 natural numbers. But now, in infinite raster notation, set B equals to 5, 10, 15, 20, and the recurring dots, right? Why? Because those are the multiples of 5. I saw for the assignment that some of you, for the multiples of 7, just left it to 70 and you close the curly bracket, right? The multiples of 5 as of the multiples of 7 are infinite. We cannot say that the last multiple of 7 is 70, right? So that should have had those recurring dots. Why? Because the set is infinite. So the notation should look something like what we have there in set B. Do you guys have any question? Any questions that you want to ask? Anything that is not clear? Anything that you want me to repeat? Ryan says it should have, yeah, it should have recurring dots, right? It should have recurring dots in infinite. So for finite, you don't need the recurring dots. Why? Because it's finite. We covered that last week, right? The finite ends. The finite has an end. It starts and finishes, but the infinite doesn't. So we need to put those recurring dots for us to know that it is infinite, that it is not ending there, right? So any questions? I'm not hearing.
No,
No, miss.
Anything
No,
that you
miss.
want me to repeat? Remember, this is also in your assignment, both in last week's assignment and this week. So if something is not clear, please ask. Remember that some important features about the raster notation are the curly brackets, the naming of the set, and the commas. We are not talking about round brackets, right? Round brackets are the ones that we have there, like the first 5 natural numbers in round brackets. Those are round brackets. But curly brackets are used for sets, not round brackets. Many of you did that mistake in your assignment. You included the round brackets, and those are not the type of brackets we use in raster notation. So let's see. So is the set represented in raster notation or not? We have set B. Is that raster or non-raster notation? Type in the chat box or mute yourself. Is it raster or non-raster? Set B. We are talking about set B, the first one. Ryan says raster. Who else? Okay, many of you are saying non-raster and some are saying raster. Remember the key features of a raster, right? I just covered that. Some key features. Set B has a name, right? It is separated by commas, but it is missing something, right? What is it missing?
The brackets, Miss.
Curly
Very
bracket.
good. Missing, Gerald, and some of you said that it is missing the brackets, right? The curly brackets. So we cannot say this is a correct representation in raster notation. Why? Because of the curly brackets. You are missing something important. So if you just give me something like this in your assignment, I will subtract points. Why? Because you need to have the curly brackets. Okay? So we have set T is a list of students in math class that speak Spanish. Is this raster or non-raster? Non-raster, 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 non-raster. So what? So if it is non-raster, what notation it is? Can someone tell me? Semantic. Very good, Ryan, Edwin, Gerald. This is semantic, right? Because it has the name of the set and it has a description, right? Now, very good. Set U equals to red, white, and blue. Is it raster or non-raster?
Raster, Miss.
Raster. Who else says raster? Raster. Okay, Loriani, Isari, Ernest, Edwin, Ryan, Yaretsi, Kevin, Ozair. So many of you see it's raster, right? That is correct. Why? Because it has a name, it has the curly brackets, it is separated by commas, right? So that is how a set should look in raster notation. That is exactly how it should look. If you miss something, maybe you miss, even if it's I don't have an example here of an infinite, but if you miss the dots in an infinite, then I will more than likely subtract points from it. Why? Because that is not the correct representation, right? So for you to get full marks in your assignments, you should have something like that. You should have name, the curly brackets, and the commas. Remember, curly brackets, not round brackets. There's a difference when using sets. So, okay. So you will copy this table in your notebooks and we will complete the table. But first, I'll give you like 2 minutes to copy the table. Just copy the table, make your table there in your notebooks, and then we will start. Copy the table in your notebooks. Let's see.
Es el mismo link que dice mañana. Es el mismo link que dice mañana.
If you are finished copying the table, please tell me so I can move on to the next slide.
Digo, tu mini está capturando.
Just copy the table. We are not filling the table right now. We are just copying it.
Done, miss.
Did some of you say you're finished?
Done.
Okay. Okay, let's wait maybe like 1 more minute just to see if everyone is finished. Okay, so we could move on to the next slide.
Finish.
Okay, so you will look at this set and you will fill your table with this information. You will see if the set Y is the set of siblings Loriani has. If that for you is it semantic or raster notation, you will put it in the columns of your table that you just made. Okay? So let's that quickly. I'll give you 2 minutes. I think 2 minutes is too much. We have set Y is the set of siblings Loriani has. B equals to 1, 2, 3, and recurring dots. Set A is the set of students who do not like mathematics. We have F equals to yellow and white. Fill that out in your table. If you think that set A is raster notation, put it on the raster notation.
Finish, miss.
Okay, let's wait for the others. Done, Miss is Gerald. Give you 1 more minute, just waiting for the rest. Put everything. If you think set Y is the set of sibling Loriani has, put everything under your table. Because that is the set itself. That is the representation itself. If you just put set Y, set B, whenever you are reviewing, that will not help you, right? Because you will not see clearly what you were, or you won't remember what you were talking about that day. So please copy everything. Okay. So, set Y is the set of siblings Loriani has. Will that go under semantic notation or raster notation?
Semantic, miss.
Semantic, miss.
Semantic, right? Because it has a name and it has a description. Now, set B, will that go under semantic notation or raster notation?
Raster, miss. Raster.
Raster, right? Very good. Why? Because it has a name, it has the curly brackets, it is separated by commas. and it shows that set is infinite. So set A is the set of students who do not like mathematics. Is that semantic or raster?
Semantic.
Semantic.
Semantic, right? Very good. It has a name and it also has a description. That is very important in semantic notation. The last one, F equals to yellow and white.
Raster,
Is that
Miss.
Raster.
raster, right? It is raster notation. Good. Why? It has a name, it has the curly brackets, and it is separated by commas. Very good. So you really can now identify and differentiate, right? What is the semantic and what is the raster notation. So what helps us identify if a set is represented in raster or tabular notation? What helps us identify if a set is represented in raster or tabular notation?
Miss,
It
the
does
curly
not.
brackets.
The curly brackets and the
Which
commas,
kind
Miss.
of brackets should it have?
What, Miss?
Which kind of brackets should it have?
Curly brackets.
Curly brackets.
Very good, right? The curly brackets, right? Since the comma and the curly bracket, it should have the curly brackets. What is it saying? It should have a name. Very good. Very good. It should have the curly brackets, the name, the comma. So those are what helps us identify if a set is represented in raster or tabular notation. If it does not have those things, then we cannot see it is represented in raster notation. Why? Because those are key things that the raster notation should have, right? So now that you know what raster notation is, I want to see everyone. We have like 25 students or 24 here. So I want one example. Each one will give me one example of a raster notation. Just one in the chat box. Just one. Any raster, any set in raster notation, any set. Just give me an example in the chat box. So I should have like 23 sets to look at.
Miss, can I send it?
Yes, sure, you can send it. Ernest, what is your set missing? Take a look at it. Okay. This is y equals to 3, 4, 5. Alan, let's see. The name, very good, Edwin. So, who else? I'm still missing some students. Very good, Alan. Yeah, Ernest was missing the name, right? Okay, good. Some of you are really giving me some good examples. I still don't think I have all of your examples. Let's see. Good. This is Kevin, Kennedy, and Krista. Okay, very good. So most of you know how to write a set in raster notation, how to represent a set in raster notation. Marielle, remember, the brackets are not square brackets. They are curly brackets. In order to you get that on your in your laptop or whatever you're using. If you're doing it in your laptop, you need to press shift and the square brackets, right, for you to get the curly brackets. But apart from that, good example. Okay, very good. Many of you know now how to write this set in raster form. So this is all about raster or tabular notation. Any questions?
No, Miss.
No, miss.
No, miss.
Okay, I
No,
hope
miss.
so. So if you have not resubmitted your assignment and you will do that, please do so. And you now have a little bit more of knowledge about raster notation. So I should not see some incomplete sets there. Okay?
Yes, I sent the one of last week.
Okay.
It's 7.
Okay, I will take a look at it if I haven't. I think I checked your one. How
Yes,
would
miss, you
we
check
do
mine.
unsemantic? Just a moment. Someone asked, could we do semantic notation? Okay. Semantic notation, as I mentioned yesterday, is just the description, remember. It's just the set and the description. It's mostly a sentence. So you will see set B is the set of students in math class. Set E is the list of students that do not understand English. Set C is the set of students that need to take the bus to get to their houses or something like that, right? It's just the set name and the description. It is not using very good, right? Your classmates are giving some good examples of those ones of semantic notation. So you should not get confused with semantic and raster, right? Why? Because I gave you an example here, right? Let's say this slide. We can see that set Y has many words, right? It has many words. It's a sentence. So that is what semantic notation looks like. And B is a raster form. It doesn't have a sentence. It doesn't have too many words on it. It just have the curly brackets, the elements separated by commas, um, and well, if it is infinite, we include the 3 dots. But apart from it, that's okay, right? So semantic is a set with the description, and raster form is just the elements listed there, separated by commas and enclosed in curly brackets. Is that clear now, Brian? Okay, I hope so. If not, you can always contact me. I have said it many times. So that is it for our class. If Loriani, Isari, and Kevin are here, please stay after the class. Just a little while. Okay, so that is
Okay,
it for
miss.
this class. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Miss, excuse me,
Yes?
miss. Good morning. I need to talk to you, please.
Okay, sure, listen.
Bye, Miss. Have a nice day. Also, Miss Mike.
Goodbye. Thank
Bye,
you.
Miss Janelli. Bye,
Miss.
Miss
Goodbye, Alan. Goodbye,
Bye.
Alan.
Bye, Miss Catzim. Bye, Miss Mai. Have a
Bye,
wonderful
Kenji.
weekend and day and afternoon and night, both of you.
Thank you, Alan. Goodbye, Ryan.